Ever wondered why Blockbuster, once a giant in the video rental industry, failed? Well, there's a story behind it, and it's a cautionary tale for businesses of all sizes. Picture this. It's the late 90s, and Blockbuster is at the top of its game. It's the go-to place for movie rentals, a cultural icon with an enormous popularity. But fast forward to 2011, and the once dominant force is declaring bankruptcy, its once bustling stores reduced to empty shells. What happened? How did this rental titan fall so far? Let's dive into the reasons that led to the collapse of this rental giant. One major reason for Blockbuster's failure was its underestimation of competition. Picture this. A Goliath in the video rental industry, seemingly invincible but oblivious to the David's rising. Blockbuster's dominance was undisputed, yet it failed to account for the underdogs, the new entrants like Netflix and Redbox. These competitors were more than just blips on the radar. They were innovative, nimble, and ready to disrupt the status quo. While Blockbuster was comfortably entrenched in its brick-and-mortar fortresses, Netflix and Redbox were carving out a new battlefield in the realm of digital streaming and convenient DVD rental kiosks. Unlike Blockbuster, they were not burdened by the overheads of physical stores. They offered customers what they truly desired: a convenient, affordable, and diverse movie-watching experience, right from the comfort of their own homes. Blockbuster, however, dismissed these players as minor threats, failing to see the shifting tides. Its complacency in the face of innovation and change was a major misstep. The company remained steadfast in its traditional model, underestimating the power of these emerging competitors. Blockbuster's inability to recognize the threat posed by these new entrants was a grave mistake. In the rapidly evolving world of technology, Blockbuster failed to adapt. It was a time of transition, a shift from physical videos to digital content. Streaming services started to gain traction, offering convenience and unlimited access to a plethora of movies and series at the click of a button. Yet, Blockbuster, rooted in its traditional retail model, was slow to recognize this trend, let alone embrace it. While consumers were beginning to enjoy the convenience of viewing their favorite content from the comfort of their homes, Blockbuster held on to its brick-and-mortar operations. It clung to the physicality of video rentals, ignoring the clear shift towards digital consumption. Its competitors, on the other hand, were quick to adapt, providing services that were in line with the changing consumer preferences. This failure to adapt to new technologies wasn't just a misstep. It was a critical error that led to a significant loss of customers. A company that once dominated the video rental industry was now struggling to keep up with the times. This reluctance to change, to adapt, and to innovate marked the beginning of the end for Blockbuster. Blockbuster's reluctance to adapt to new technologies significantly contributed to its downfall. Another factor that played into Blockbuster's failure was its high fixed costs. Let's break it down. Blockbuster operated on a traditional retail model, meaning they had to maintain physical stores. These stores came with their own set of expenses: rent, utilities, staff salaries, and more. Now, these costs are called fixed because they have to be paid regardless of how many customers walk through the doors. When business was booming, these costs were just part of the game. But as Blockbuster's customer base started to dwindle, these fixed costs didn't go down. They remained the same, eating into the company's profits. The situation was further exacerbated when competitors like Netflix and Redbox entered the scene, offering customers the same services without the high overhead costs of physical stores. Suddenly, Blockbuster's fixed costs weren't just an expense, they were a liability. The company found itself trying to keep up with competitors who were playing a completely different game. This is the issue with high fixed costs. They can provide stability when business is good, but they can become a significant burden when the tide turns. In Blockbuster's case, they were a financial anchor that dragged the company down. The high fixed costs associated with Blockbuster's traditional retail model was a financial burden that the company could not bear. Excessive late fees and loss of exclusive studio deals were other factors that led to Blockbuster's demise. Now let's imagine that you're a customer of Blockbuster. You've rented a movie, but life happened, and you returned it late. Unfortunately, this was a costly mistake because Blockbuster had a reputation for charging excessive late fees. This policy often left customers feeling frustrated and, in many cases, led them to seek services elsewhere. But there's another side of the coin: the loss of exclusive studio deals. Blockbuster once boasted partnerships with major movie studios, which gave it an edge over competitors. These exclusive deals ensured that Blockbuster had the latest movies before anyone else, but as time went on, these partnerships began to crumble. Studios started to explore other options and Blockbuster found itself losing its competitive advantage. These two factors combined created a perfect storm. The excessive late fees drove customers away, while the loss of exclusive studio deals meant that Blockbuster could no longer offer something unique. These factors further alienated customers and weakened Blockbuster's position in the market. In conclusion, a combination of factors led to the downfall of Blockbuster. Let's take a moment to reflect on the key points that resulted in the demise of this once dominant force in the video rental industry. Blockbuster's underestimation of the competition, especially from emerging players like Netflix and Redbox, was a significant blow. It's a harsh reminder that no matter how big you are, there's always someone ready to innovate and disrupt your market. Moreover, Blockbuster's failure to adapt to new technologies, particularly the rise of streaming services, was a colossal misstep. In a world where convenience is king, the company's clinging to its traditional retail model left it far behind its more technologically savvy competitors. High fixed costs associated with its brick-and-mortar stores, coupled with excessive late fees, also played a role in alienating customers and draining resources. Additionally, the loss of exclusive studio deals stripped Blockbuster of its unique selling point, making it even harder to compete in a rapidly changing market. The company's rapid expansion followed by slow downsizing, outdated in-store software systems, and diversification into unrelated businesses further weakened its core movie rental brand. These strategic errors diluted Blockbuster's identity and confused its customer base. Finally, missed opportunities for strategic partnerships that could have injected fresh life into the brand were the last nails in the coffin. They underscore the importance of being open to collaboration and innovation, even when you're at the top of your game. Blockbuster's downfall is a classic example of how failing to adapt to market changes can lead to the collapse of even the biggest giants in the industry. So, let's always remember to keep our fingers on the pulse of change, as it's the only constant in the business world.